Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and we have some very exciting announcements from LSS today. We got a brand new BnR Restricted, which I feel like most people were probably waiting for pretty patiently today. But we got four new cards, or four new card changes basically. First being Count Your Blessings ban, which is kind of a ban that I didn't, I thought was kind of inevitable at some point, but I didn't really know exactly when. It didn't really feel like with the red and yellow COB it was that much of a problem, but I can kind of like see where they're coming from with this ban. So all copies of Count Your Blessings are now banned, which is pretty cool. Definitely will probably increase just like player experience, which I'm kind of a proponent of. I don't think it was like that strong of a card necessarily. Like it was obviously pretty good in some decks, but like for the most part, I feel like CYB decks have been kind of on the decline ever since I guess like Aurora left and Enigma, I guess to kind of like that stretch as well. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting ban. Definitely not like needed necessarily, but definitely kind of welcome just from like a player fun kind of perspective, which is really nice. As I predicted with some of the Florian bans, we saw a Scepter Pain ban, which is also, I think, a really good change. It basically means that you don't have to run like AV3 in a Florian anymore, and you don't have to like plan for this weird alternate game plan. So Scepter Pain significantly kind of hurts that stack Florian strategy, and the banning of Germinate also probably kills that strategy as well. I think Germinate is a card that I wasn't really expecting. I feel like most people were really expecting, but it's kind of the rationale for what they're doing makes sense, especially if there's a new card that we kind of like don't know about. So maybe the combination of that new card plus Germinate does to some extent like break Germinate to the point where it's maybe too good. But yeah, definitely some interesting bans. I thought that like we might see like Reduce to Enchant or some other like defensive tools get banned, but that's kind of fine. And Red Bonds of Ancestry unbanned is the big one. So Katsu fans are rejoicing everywhere. Katsu fans have paid the price for Zen Sin, so we finally get at least the red copies of Bonds of Ancestry unbanned, which is I think a really nice compromise. Like I don't know if you can just unban all copies of Bonds of Ancestry, but unbanning the red copies I feel like makes a whole lot of sense, especially just like with Katsu being kind of like a D tier deck. I think it breathes new life into the deck and also kind of pushes him towards Elong, so maybe they have some more room for like combo Ninja in the future. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and play some games today. And the deck that I obviously wanted to pick is Katsu. So Katsu, I think, was one of my favorite decks around the heavy hitters kind of time period. And we'll talk about it in a second. But Katsu, I think, was my go-to hero during heavy hitters just because he had a really good Kano matchup. He had like some decent play into KO as well. So he was like a kind of sleeper meta pick during heavy hitters, and then completely fell off the rails once Zen was released, and obviously we know how that went. But yeah, gonna play him now. Kind of going to be inspired, I mean, mostly by just kind of like some past Katsu lists that I played. We do have some new tools though. We have like the new Kassai, the second one, which is actually now playable, and we also have Retrace the Past from Hunted. So the combination of Retrace the Past plus Bonds of Ancestry is like actually pretty powerful. We don't have like the yellow bonds, which are obviously missing, but like we've never had both Retrace and red bonds legal at the same time. So it's kind of cool because these cards are both like very independently strong. Like Retrace being like a 0/4 that also like synergizes with a bunch of other cards in the deck, and then bonds just being like the powerful like recursive tool it is means that like you can do some kind of like sick nasty stuff with Katsu nowadays. But yeah, this is going to be the deck I'm going to be playing. This is mostly my own deck. I kind of just threw together the cards I think are best in Katsu. I've been seeing I think a lot of Break Tide in previous kind of like Katsu lists that are running Retrace and not bonds. I think Break Tide does make a bit of sense. I think just having a one of is pretty low opportunity cost. You can definitely see like going to a two or something. But definitely want to make some room for effects like Tenacity and also effects like Salto in the sideboard. So we kind of are, depending on the matchup, bringing in one or the other, depending on how much our opponent wants to block. I think that kind of makes sense as kind of a game plan. And for the most part, we're just playing like a standard Katsu list. Like we have a very aggressive 60. CNC in the main deck is, I think, a little bit weird, but I think it does make sense. Just so you have like a little bit of disruption to every hero. It does feel like sometimes bad to main decks and maybe like flex it with like the flex or sinks depending on the matchup, but CNC main deck is like kind of fine. And yeah, for the most part, like we have some sideboard tech for like Prism and then also into like Assassin, some other decks. Just some like decent sideboard and then also AB3 in case we need it into Kano. But yeah, pretty simple Katsu list. We're also, I guess, doing the thing where we're flexing between the Heart and Cross Trap and the Tunic. Cross Trap being for like more aggro matchups, Tunic being for slower matchups. But yeah, this is kind of like very reminiscent of like kind of old Katsu, just minus the yellow bonds. And I think this is going to be a pretty solid deck. So let's go ahead and give it a spin. All right, we got a Kano. Pretty good opportunity to test out our Kano sideboard. think we were just bringing the Salt over the Tenacity and then running it basically as is. Could bring an extra blue if we wanted to over like a CNC or something, but that's not incredibly necessary, I feel like. I apparently have too many weapons. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Looks like our opponent's on Waning Moon, which is interesting. Definitely not necessarily what I would expect in a Katsu, but hitting an Epot turn 1 is quite solid. Probably just going to try to deny a bit of filtering here. Huh. Interesting. They're choosing to go into like the big spell version of Kano, which is definitely a little bit unexpected. I think we're going to take the opportunity here to filter a little bit. Like maybe filter spinning plus a blue or something like that. It seems like they're not going to follow up with the Waning Moon, which is also interesting. Very interesting line for our opponent turn 1. But we did get our filtering, which is at least nice. Let's start with Be Like Water here, which is threatening the on-hit of naming Surging Strike, which is pretty relevant on this hand. Alright, seems like they're going to block. That's A-okay. I think we'll just lead off with Kodachi and try to Arsenal's Gust Wave. Holding back the Gust Wave also means they can't combo us, but pretty unlikely to combo us if they're on the more big spell Kano. Especially after blocking with a card. They might just give us 2 cards here, which I think I'm happy with. And if we can set up an Arsenal, I think we're in pretty good shape. Seems like they maybe have some amount of no blocks in hand if they're fishing off Kano. They're getting a Photon Splicing. Interesting. I don't think we're going to AB any of this. I assume they're just going to follow up with the Waning Moon as well. But holding on to the Descendant, I think, is more important. And it looks like we're probably going to get their Arsenal as well. I wonder if they're running the D-React. We'll decline all these triggers. One thing I don't like about playing Katsu on Talachar is the incessant amount of triggers if you want to like hold priority. And then you always like end up in situations where you have to like undo and stuff, which is never fun. But seems like a pretty decent hand here. So yeah, we're probably just gonna YOLO Harmony, see what we hit. The chance of hitting Harmony in this deck is like stupid high. Is at least with the build that I have. Like what are we running? We're running, let's look at our stats. We're running 38 combo cards. Like this is like above 50% to hit, which is kind of disgusting. Okay, Blue Fluster is not anything crazy. It's still fine. Like we can lead off on spinning. Could theoretically actually... No, that's probably dumb. Let's lead off on spinning. We have the Retrace, which we would probably want to tutor off Katsu anyways. Could potentially get something with Lynx. Could actually discard the Retrace, get a Bonds, buy back Retrace. That's kind of interesting. I might be correct, assuming that they're not blocking here. I don't know if we need Lynx. I'm going to pass on Lynx, although I don't know if Lynx like kills them any faster. Might kill them like a little bit faster. We'll still say no to it. It's probably right to pop it there, but I don't want to think about it too much. So go ahead and use Katsu's ability to discard the Retrace, grab our Bonds, and now we can recur the Retrace from... Oh, wait, we don't have... yes, we don't have the... We need a Gust Wave. So we did actually need to pop the Lynx to get like a Descendant or something in between all this. We should probably still get the opportunity here. But that's like a minor thing you have to think about. I always like keep thinking that like Retrace needs to be played after, like you can play a Retrace after a Bonds, but you need like one more Chain Link, which is kind of a little bit weird to get used to. So we're only floating one here, but it's pretty unlikely that they're going to be able to kill off like a 4-card hand. Yeah, if they do manage to block us out here, it's like pretty bad. But maybe we'll still just get Retrace anyways. Oh, if they don't block, we're in business though. So we will pop Lynx now. We should have popped it earlier, obviously, but I'm not used to all these shiny new Katsu cards. They've already blocked, so they're not really going to combo us here. Go ahead and grab Descendant, and then we can do Descendant, Retrace, into Open the Center, Fluster. It's pretty sick. I wonder if the Salt the Wound is almost redundant with just like running a better combo card, because we already basically have Salt the Wound in the deck whenever we want it. All right, we'll name Open the Center here. This is also a lot of fun. Or Retrace the Past here is a really fun card just because it kind of reminds me of Swamp a bit. Obviously kind of like a better Swamp, just because it's kind of like more self-contained. And then we'll end on a blue cluster, which is nothing crazy, but coming in for 7 is like pretty darn good. And our Kano opponent now has to like give us 2 cards here or something. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Hopefully they're not like close to combo, but we still have AB3, and we should have the means to pay into it, so it shouldn't be that bad. Let's not over kind of extend here in case they have wildfire. So let's just start with like underwinds and try to like whittle them down from there. We can like AB3 twice. Ooh, I have Vidya, quite nice. They also have Depot plus I, which is a pretty sick combo. Alright, so wildfire on top. Pretty good. I don't know if we're dead in this current board state. I think they would need a Kindle, and they also don't have Crucible, which goes a long way to kind of pumping the wildfire. Ooh, 2 reds in hand. Interesting. Yeah, what is their hand? Their hand has to be another red, right? Yeah, I don't know if this was the Kano hand that necessarily gets there. I think in general, probably don't want to run Big Spell in the Katsu because you just want to race. But it seems like that's what they're kind of opting to do here. They could, I guess, like Eternal Inferno, Storms. Can they Storm Stride as an Eternal Inferno? Yeah, I guess they can. Sure, that is a legal play you can do. Yeah, it seems like they're not going to have a ton of. Oh, I guess they do have Kindle. That does go a pretty long way to buffing the wildfire. If they had a blue here, they might. They're still not killing us, but they might be closer. They have blue plus E-Pot. They get like 2 looks. If they can get like a floodgate, I think they might be in an okay spot. Hitting the Inferno on top is like pretty bad though. They are gonna pay, sure. So we'll go ahead and AB3 here. I think we'll just pitch Dishonor. I don't think it really matters which blue we pitch, because regardless, we're probably gonna be ABing some amount here. Let's see if they're gonna pay the Metacarpus here. All right, so they are not paying the Metacarpus. I have a video. They're putting 2 cards on top and then doing this. I think we're not supposed to pay for the Inferno. Yeah, I think I'm not paying for the Inferno. I guess this is only getting. I probably should have paid for the Inferno. Because if they have Blazing on top, I guess it's probably bad. Yeah, let's go ahead and pay for the Inferno now. We probably should have paid for it the first time. Oh, they paid into the Metacarpus. Okay, weird. Sure. Okay, I guess I no longer have any idea what's going on anymore. I think there was like maybe an out if they don't pay into Metacarpus and they have Blazing off the top. How much damage does that deal? Yeah, it's still not enough, right? It's only 13 or something like that. Yeah, so it's still not die there. All right, not use Katsu, and then we'll go ahead and just end on the fluster. I think that game was a little bit sloppy, but I'm still kind of shaking the rust off of the old Katsu play lines. It's been like probably at least a year or 2 since I've actually like played this deck. It's probably just about a year, right? With MST being about a year old. All right, well that was a pretty decent game to just showcase the Kano matchup, which I think is actually like one of the better reasons to play Katsu right now, just because like his Kano matchup is like very Katsu favored. I feel like, or it historically has always been Katsu favored, but I don't know if the floodgates changed that much. But like you still have like a lot of good game into Kano. I feel like. All right, let's see if we can get another. All right, it's playing against a Kassai. Very interesting. Let's go second into Kassai, I think. And then normal configurations. We probably want Tunic, maybe? Kasai's pretty aggressive. I feel like Cross-Trap might actually be better. And then Tenacity seems good. Maybe reacts over the spinnings. Could also see cutting the even bigger than that. So they have not been performing super well today, but we'll give it a shot regardless, I think. In terms of priorities, I'm probably trying to hold on to like empowerment here. We're losing our one copy of Brick Tide, but it's not the end of the world. I think this card is like very clunky, and if I see it in hand most of the time, I just want to like get rid of it. All right, they're cracking their gold on turn 1, which is very aggressive. But we'll see what they got here. Kind of remind me a little bit of like heavy hitters meta, playing Katsu versus Kassai. I feel like the decks have changed a decent bit since then. Let's go ahead and just give empowerment here, which won't buff the saber, and then we'll go ahead and just try to filter the remainder cards, because I imagine they're going to follow up with the other saber since it's free. Let's go ahead and give like 2 cards here. Maybe give like Tenacity plus Brick Tide and try to keep the blue in hand. Do lose our Tenacity, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we're not taking any damage, which is obviously nice. And yeah, it definitely feels like a weird way for them to pop there, just because like didn't really get a ton of value. Okay. So obviously we have the natty Descendant Bonds, but it's not even good. I mean, yeah, it's still good, right? It's still good. Yeah. I think we're just popping Crossdrap here. I was like, I think I want to like pitch the blue, but I guess we like should not do that. It's a little bit awkward here because like we don't have the second Brick Tide, which makes it weird. I think we're still just doing it though. Maybe like strip a bunch of armor here and then like retrace is maybe interesting. Maybe like Arsenal the Bonds. You could also see that being the case. Arsenal Bonds is like pretty reasonable. Did you have to give us like 6 here to prevent the on hit? So do we scales this early? I don't know. Feels pretty bad to like lose the like the I try not to think about the 1 armor on scales very much, but it does feel like it's more so not having scales around for the rest of the game is like kind of rough. So if we discard this retrace, what are we getting? Like what are we doing with this bonds, I guess is the question. Could also just play the bonds by itself, but that also feels weird. I feel like we're not overcommitting into this, especially like we get kind of blown out if they have react. Let's go ahead and just do Absorbent Aether. Sure, why not? I think like if we're in an actual tournament setting, we probably name something, but I don't also think I want to crack links this early. Go ahead and just pass back. I think we're just gonna Arsenal the Bonds here. So yeah, in like an actual like tournament game, you're probably supposed to name something there to like make sure that your opponent is like respecting this. Like I think the correct thing to name there is like actually surging, just in case we don't like pop links to get like a whelming gust wave or something. But here it's kind of fine. We could cash in our armor value just to deny this, but we probably want to deny it on the second swing because we're more likely to be able to block that out. So we'll go ahead and take this first Centauri Saber Swing and try to throw 2 armor in front of the second one, which will prevent 2 copper, hopefully. And if it does, we're pretty happy about that. So yeah, eliminating the copper there I think is important. Let's start with Kadachi so we can try to even bigger than that. And I guess we'll hold on to the whelming pitch. Or Dishonor and Graveyard is also like decent. I guess which one of these are we more likely to care about? I guess it's maybe we want to discard this honor, so keeping the whelming in the deck makes more sense. So I have decision points with this deck in terms of like managing your resources effectively. All right, we'll go ahead and even bigger than that, which will help us turn on our Gust Wave, which is nice. We'll want to reveal off the top. It's probably just like 100 wins, right? We could also reveal another Dishonor or like a CNC if we wanted to go for that route. CNC's like okay. Yeah, I kind of like CNC in this hand because we do have the 2 floating and we have the Gust Wave plus that. So yeah, I think CNC is probably the play. Does mean this Dishonor is potentially weirder. It's not that much weirder. Like we're probably still going to get the opportunity to discard this at some point this turn. If we don't, it's also not the end of the world. So let's go ahead and send in with the Gust Wave. She'll get Go again, which means that it's comboing with her bonds, which is quite nice. Alright, so looks like they're going to give us the hit here. Do we Lynx? What will we get off Lynx? We probably get Break Tide, honestly. So I think we're not Lynxing yet. So we'll see if we can get a little bit more information, maybe. We will use Katsu's ability, discard this Honor. Let's get the... What are we getting? Definitely discarding his Honor. I guess the question is, like, what do we do on the back end of this? Can get, like... So we have the bonds in Arsenal. We have this here. Can't, unfortunately, get... We could theoretically, like, retrace and then, like, do it for 2, and then... Aim at Surging? No, that doesn't work. There's maybe a way to make that work, like, where we do, like, the Dishonor line like that, but I think we're just getting, like, Underwinds here, not getting super greedy with it. Let's go ahead and get bonds. Bonds will get retrace. Or no, it doesn't get sorry, it doesn't get retrace. It gets bonds gets what? Bonds gets having the other second Break Tide is also quite awkward. I feel like I kind of missed that a little bit. Bonds gets Descendant, I guess? Still not great, but it's probably better than nothing. Because we can't get the Go again on Retrace in any shape or form. I guess we can... Maybe we should have masked this turn. It was probably correct to actually mask this turn. Sometimes the retrace lines are a little bit complex to kind of keep in my head. Let's go ahead and not pop Lynx. Then we'll just do kind of a little bit more of a lackluster turn instead of ending on the CNC. I guess we Arsenal it. Which is fine. It also means that they're like potentially like going off Arsenal and stuff. Go ahead and send in with Underwinds, I guess, and on Kodachi. Yeah, it's definitely, it feels like a turn where I maybe should have popped the Lynx instead. I feel like there's maybe a line where we like get the retrace from Arsenal, get something off of the Lynx, maybe even pop Breeze Riders or something. But it seems like we're probably still in okay shape here. They are keeping a 5 Guardian, which is quite good, obviously. Ooh, and they also get to Seduce. It's a pretty cool card in Kassai. Just being a yellow that also draws a card. It's quite interesting. And our hand is also very, very good. Right, seems like they're just going to do a bunch of Kassai things. Probably going to get a crapload of copper, gold, all the coins. Yeah, this is fine. Take 7 here, probably take a bit on the back half as well. Assuming they have some other follow-up. Curious to see if they use that one resource to gain a vigor. Seems like they are going to, because I imagine most of their stuff is free. All right, and then we have no blocks for this as well. All right, no blocks here. Into the swing makes sense, and probably just going to keep an Arsenal here or something. Right, they do have a lot of copper, so we are definitely concerned about the blood on our hands, although we did see one pitch pretty early. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us too hard. I think we're going to do Surging Descendant into... Well, it's awkward. I guess it depends on what they do. They give us blocks here, then the CNC gets better. So maybe we're not supposed to like try to force through the on hit on Katsu here. Because I imagine they block this with like Dynamo's plus card. Although we could force this through with Scales, which is probably worth. Yeah, I think it's probably worth it. Let's hold priority here so we can stack our triggers. Let's grab that Whelming Gust Wave trigger, and then I guess we'll do the Katsu. I guess it doesn't matter. We'll think it through. Whelming Gust Wave first, just so we see our card. We get a 0 cost, which is excellent, which means that we will be able to get a Bonds here. So grab that bonds. There we go. We got 2 left. Breezer Boots seems unnecessary at this point. Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, also unnecessary, I think. Definitely think we had that one turn. We had the opportunity to definitely mask, but I don't think there's really super strong desire for me to go for it here. All right, what are our options here? We get 100 wins again, which is fine. Can also get, I feel like 100 wins is like the best option. We can also get Gust Wave if we theoretically want to pop our boots, but I don't really want to do that. So I think 100 wins just to get the go again makes sense. Say no fetches. Maybe just try to take the last 2 cards out of them with the CNC here. And I probably should be turning off these things, but I forgot. And then we'll go ahead and end on the CNC. They do have the Seduce, which actually plays around CNC quite well. Fortunately, they're not able to do it on their turn, but they at least get to basically dodge a CNC plus draw a card, which is quite nice. But they're at least still doing 6 damage, which is pretty relevant. This deck does do a lot of damage, especially into like slower decks like Kassai. Alright, decline our triggers for the 40th time, and then we'll go ahead and pass back here. Alright, this is definitely a bit of a dud hand, but the flip clocks are not bad. We do like Kadachi, Cluster, Flick, something on their turn, Arsenal, the other Flick. A lot of flexibility with this hand, which is cool. And we're not in like any real rush to kill them, I think. This also looks like that 9 copy of Draw Swords deck that I think was that went a Battle Harden or something. It's very cool. Still don't feel like Kassai is necessarily a contender in this upcoming meta. Although she's like got some interesting matchups, I will say. Okay, maybe she got a little bit more interesting with the Blood on her hands draw there. That is very good. You have the double flick though, which might actually be pretty okay on this turn. Is gonna be a big one though. Surprised they didn't go all copper. What are the modes on this? Go again, attack twice. It's interesting. How do they get the extra action point here? Maybe they have like react in hand that gives action point. All right, I guess we're probably just gonna use up our hand here to kind of like stave off some of this damage. Don't think there's any real incentive to be sending like a Kadachi or something. They will get a gold, which is fine. She is kind of like online, I guess. But we'll get a lot of good blocking value here. Although we're only getting like a little bit here. Could theoretically save a block for the next swing, assuming that they pump it somehow. Maybe we're supposed to take 3 here. Kind of believe that to be correct. All right, are they going to make them bigger at any point? Why are they holding up the 1? I guess is my question. Like, how do they give? Okay, they give a go-gun with hit and run. That makes sense. So we actually stop. Or no, the hit and run go-gun is unconditional, right? Okay, that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and give, I guess, 5 here. Then we give 3 on the other saber. I think this works out. And then just arsenal the other flick in case they do something scary on the next turn. Yeah, I think it's fine. We're only blocking 2 here, technically. But it's still reasonable, especially when they got the dynamos out. Like, us sending 2 is a lot worse than us blocking 2, basically. All right, Arsenal fucking pass back. We definitely had the opportunity to pop links this game, which I think is probably one of the things I need to get into a better habit of. I don't play with links often, so I feel like when I was playing in 5 or like playing in this deck, I feel like I save it maybe too often. Like, I think we definitely had that one turn, like turn 2 or 3, where I should have probably just slammed it, but yeah, it's definitely a card I think I need to get a little bit better about using. I don't think they're going to kill. Well, they do have 5-card hands. Do they kill us on the 5-card hand? Potentially. Ooh, Sharpened Sense is also quite scary. Alright, Slice and Dice pretty good as well. Definitely probably gonna have to use this React here. But I still don't think they kill through this. They have to have like a very specific set of cards to kill, I think. And this version of Kassai is not very D-React heavy, if I recall. It's a lot more like aggro. So I think we'll say no blocks on this, and depending on what they do, we might react. Right, they're going to glint, which is fine, so they won't get that card draw value. I feel like I'm not scared of this. Yeah, I feel like I'm not scared. We can always... I think we're not going to give 2 cards here, so flicking first on this thing doesn't make sense. We'll just flick on like whatever the back half is, and then it'll probably be fine. So like they could have killed if they had like a very specific hand of like Into the Swings and like Slice and Dices, but like if they have a bunch of like crappy blues that just give go again, I don't think that's a hand that necessarily kills here. And our hand on the next turn is looking quite nice. Yeah. Seems like they maybe want to swing it with the Saber just to get that Slice and Dice value. Okay, getting their Brave Forge plus Saber. I guess maybe that was an argument to click on the first thing. Yeah, sure. Still fine. So yeah, I guess we like technically took like 1 extra damage from the Brave Forge. But it still works out for me. Might get another Vigor here, which is also fine with me. Yeah, the Broadsword's tech is very interesting. Curious what the story behind the like the 8 or 9 copies that person was running. I guess it's just like always discounts your weapons, so you're kind of like a budget bang almost, but you're like you don't have to like build things up, and you're also like able to block out a bit more. It's kind of cool. Right, interesting. Going for a blood on her hands after doing all that is a thing that you can definitely do. Curious to see what modes they do here. Attack twice. What is the play here? I guess they like attack twice something? Attack twice, attack twice? That would work, right? Because the this. Okay, interesting. So we're gonna come in for 4 here. So they can't do... Yeah, it has to be twice their base, so they can't get go again off the Sharpened Sense. Okay, that makes sense. They're just coming in for 4 here, which does get them pretty close to killing us, but we do get to keep a full grip, or basically a full grip here. I think that there's definitely like a small misplay on this turn where I didn't do the Brave Forge, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and lead off on Kodachi here. Then we'll do Kodachi, Surging, Gust Wave, Empowerment, all the fun stuff. Right, seems like they're going to stuff the first Kodachi hit with the Shelter, which is fine. And hopefully they just like block 3 on this and we're able to Empowerment. And maybe draw a 0 cost that we can use to kind of pump it over. I think that's probably the play we're going to go for here. Alright, Be Like Water fits that bill nicely. So, triggers here. Alright, we're going to use the stupid links if it kills me. And then Katsu trigger as well. So we're definitely getting bonds, destroy links. Let's get Katsu cards. We can get a retrace. Does retrace do anything? Like retrace into like a whelming or something. I don't know. It's getting too late at night for me to play this deck. Let's get a retrace. Let's discard Katsu. Discard the Be Like Water. Grab our last bonds. And then I think we'll just go ahead and pop our Breeze or Boots because hopefully this is the last turn of the game. Go ahead and play out our Gust Wave here. Do we even need a Breeze Rider here? I don't know if we did. I guess we probably did. Because we need to get a Whelming to turn on the Retrace or something. I guess it still kills anyways. I'm probably just overthinking it. Let's Bonds. Bonds gets back anything. Doesn't even matter, right? Get back, I guess, we don't have any those Gust Waves. We just get a red one. Yeah, this is fine. I think maybe we're supposed to like banish Retrace off Bonds and do the red Whelming after the Surging. Don't think it matters here because we're still probably just dealing lethal. Or close enough to lethal, we can probably just Kadachi lock on next turn. So he has a card here, and then... interesting. Alright, give us a card here, and then block with armor on the next thing. Sure. So they go to 1 here. We'll name that's your reunion. And go ahead and plus chain pass back. They don't make. Oh, they do have gold. Oh shit, that's actually really annoying. Could be really annoying. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Are we blocking the first saber? Well, definitely now, I think. Yeah, I guess we are. Forgot about the 2 biggers and the gold, so what if there's actually a better line that turn? There probably was. It's just too late at night to think about it. Let's go ahead and just double block this, and then just like Kadachi, CNC. Kadachi's not doing anything, but CNC might be relevant, especially because does this deck run any 2 blocks? I don't know that it does. Really stripping 2 cards out of their hand, which is fine. Maybe keeping the extra card there was better and just letting that hit. I don't know. Giving Kassai gold is always scary. I feel like this game has been going on for so long that I started to lose interest. Hopefully the CNC is at least maybe a little bit painful for them. Like if they have React in hand, maybe we sneak by with that. Definitely feel like there's a way to kill that last turn though. That had been something different. Like maybe we get the Whelming first. And then we do Bonds, and then we do like Retrace afterwards or something. Something weird like that. They're at least not going to get like 3 swords here, which is nice. Alright. How do we die off of 1 saber? They'd have to have like that very specific reprise card that like buffs 3. Like just any like normal non-Kassai warrior card would do it. But I don't think we're gonna block into this. I think we're just gonna try to take it and try to kill off this. If they don't have go again, we're in really good shape. Alright, Kadachi lock. Save me. Let's just do this. All right, seems like they saw the writing on the wall. Okay, I think we fumbled that game in like the second half there, but I've also been playing Talishar for like 2 hours, just trying to get good games with this deck, which is sometimes like a little bit difficult. Okay, but yeah, that's probably going to wrap it up for today. So this is my like first take on Katsu. I think the deck does some very powerful things, but obviously is very like susceptible to disruption, which I think this kind of like sideboard package is trying to address. Just having like 6 reacts, I think, is quite reasonable into certain decks. And then I think I just need to get into the play pattern of like trying like Retrace and Bonds are kind of like anti-synergistic almost on like they're like synergistic in ways that are like not incredibly intuitive. So I feel like I need to like adjust to like playing with both Retrace and Bonds because they play with them separately but not together, and they kind of like clunked up a little bit, which is hard to kind of like evaluate. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. So thank you all for watching, and if you have any suggestions for things to try out in Katsu, we might play a little bit of Katsu just to like test for nats and stuff. That could be could be a decent amount of fun. So yeah, let me know if you like the Katsu gameplay, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it'd be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.